Hey, my beautiful peeps. Locking down the truth with Marci Lock. You can kind of see the sun's just going down here in where we're at right now in Costa Rica is Capos. Kind of doing a beach day as I'm taking my peeps through some deep unconscious commitment processes and visioning processes to figure out why the fuck we're blocking ourselves at a deep root level from manifesting everything that we want. And this is a little, as they're kind of working on that, I wanted to give you guys this insight that you could apply to your life and hopefully get clear on some of the root basic beliefs, because doing stuff over and over on the surface isn't going to do jack shit for you. Being aware doesn't change anything until you shift it from the core and you shift what the unconscious commitment is. So I want you to think about what is the greatest complaint in every single area of your life, or you could pick like the top 3 to 5 complaints in every single area of your life, from like the number 1 complaint to the 2nd complaint to 3rd complaint, etc. And you can do the same application to each. Yet, so if your top complaint, let's say in relationships, if your top complaint is my spouse controls me, then your unconscious commitment, taking full responsibility for what you create in your life, is that you're unconsciously committed to being controlled. If it's that you're not important, you're not, worthy of love, or, you don't feel like, you're, again, important, then you're unconsciously committed to being worth it, or to being important. If it's that everything's on my shoulders and I take care of everything and I do everything, then, well, you're unconsciously committed to being the hero persona, which, or self-sacrificing. So, and a lot of times with, my high-end peeps that I work with and my personal clients and the entrepreneurs that I work with, we see a basic unconscious commitment to being broke. Because there's this game of feast, famine, feast, famine, feast, famine. If you're not consistently, effortlessly earning money and money flowing in at all times with ease and it continuing to just increase and multiply and multiply and multiply, there's an unconscious commitment to being broke. And most likely there's an unconscious commitment beneath that to being worthy, to being worthy of receiving and worthy of having those kind of things in your life. So take a look at what you've unconsciously committed to, because until that shifts and changes, there's not going to be a change on the surface. You can go to the next business strategy, you can go to, the next the relationship strategy, etc., and yet you'll keep repeating the patterns or behaviors in different ways to get the same result of what your unconscious commitment is. And so we get to flip it and we get to create the conscious commitment. And then the step that I take my peeps through, which is a little more intense than via I can express to you on video, is like looking at, when we look at the conscious commitment we now want, what really shows up in the body. Because then we can see if there's resistance, if there's an energy attached to it around it that says, nuh-uh, fuck no, you don't believe you can have that, you don't deserve that. And until we process that and see where that comes from and break it down and see it as a new creation or shift it, then it doesn't change. So it's like a lot of people, I just want you guys to hear this, in the self-empowerment industry, so many things that we're doing are very surface level. It's very much the secret, think it, and let's just say a declaration, let's just say an affirmation. So I can sit here and say, oh, now I'm consciously committed to being abundant, or I'm now consciously committed to being worthy. But guess what? Inside of it's like, fuck no, you're not. Money's always been hard and it's a struggle, and you've always done the feast famine thing, and you've never consistently made money, and you're always barely getting enough leads and surviving. Well, guess what? You're literally internally, you don't even believe the conscious commitment, the new conscious commitment, and you're not going to align to it. You're not shifting the behaviors or patterns. Your ego mind doesn't want to be forced, and it's like, fuck you, this is not what I believe I can have. And so you create the exact opposite. And what's interesting is one of my peeps that's here, I pointed out a couple days ago, I could see rebel persona going on, which rebel persona is doing the opposite of what everyone wants you to do, because you're like, fuck you, you can't control me, I'm going to do the opposite of what you want me to do. And what I pointed out is, when you're in rebel persona, who's really in control? Is it you? No, you're always going to do the opposite of what someone tells you to do, so you're really just someone's bitch. And so even seeing these little connections, as he brought up his unconscious commitments, he was like, well, why are you making me do this, this, and this, and all these things here? And he was like trying to go ahead of the process versus just stay on the step by step. And I'm like, because I'm unconsciously committed to being a rebel persona, and fuck you, Marci Lock. And it's like all these things showed up where he's like, holy shit, I'm in resistance to everything and creating everything that I say I want. And we can see how these now give us the awareness of what's really going on underneath, that's creating the disconnect, creating the blocks to manifesting with ease, because you are so fucking effortless. You're creating right now effortlessly everything that you want. What you want, though, is what you're committed to, and your results are showing what you really want, because what you really want is what you feel, which is your unconscious commitments, the things you're committed to at your core. So I just want you guys to tune in and hear the possibilities of when you actually go internal. This is why I am so fucking passionate about telling you. The only way to get externally everything that you want is through your internal self. Is through your internal game. Is going internal, and clear here means fucking everything is clear out here. Chaos is just a step before confusion. So look at the chaos, what you're manifesting, the unconscious commitments, so we can flip it and we can create awesomeness from that. This is Marci Lockin. I'm going to finish enjoying the sunset before I do the next step with my peeps. Reminding you, power of choice is yours. Choose your best life. Lock it down.